Hey everybody, got a Three Geeks conversation. We have Destiny with us, as well as Max Brooks. How you doing, Max? How are things? How's life?
So far today, I have no complaints. So all good. How about yourself?
Can't complain.
Good.
Can't complain. Good.
It's been a good day. We get to talk to you. That makes it even better.
Thank you. All right, now what is the poster in the background behind you, Justin?
It is
What am I looking
Mallrats, my friend. It's Mallrats. I can go higher.
Oh, because see,
Mallrats.
there's your
Yeah.
screen. I couldn't see it. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. We did a road trip to Jay and Silent Bob's like comic book opening in New Jersey, and it's signed.
God.
You can't see it through the camera, but it was just fun. Just to pop in.
He's such a freaking genius, Kevin Smith. Good Lord.
I love almost all of his stuff. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would venture. I think Clerks 2 is easily Clerks 2, not 1.
Sure.
Not 1. I mean, Clerks is the easy rider of my generation, but I actually like Clerks 2 even better.
I do like
because
Clerks as well.
Yeah.
I do think
I mean,
it's
that
better.
that last scene at the end when Randall's like, dude, stop whining and own your life.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, what a great message to Gen X.
And Dogma. Mallrats and Dogma are my favorite. Kevin.
Oh, jeez, Dogma.
You're an author. I've read, I believe, all of your books. I'm a big fan to talk to you just about your writing. What sparked that book? Because I know like the acting stuff kind of made sense to me, but like what kind of deviated into the author world?
You got it all wrong. I didn't deviate into the author world. No.
So sorry.
I did not.
So sorry.
I did not deviate into the author. No, it's not your fault because how would you know? You didn't grow up with me. You didn't live in my house. No, I was always a writer. I was always a writer first. The acting thing was the sidetrack.
Sure.
The acting thing was just to please my mom, and even the TV writing, the comedy writing thing was the world trying to make me into a new version of my dad. But the books, that's who I was. I mean, I wrote my first short story when I was 12 and I never stopped. I mean, you've only seen the stuff that's been published. Good Lord. I got a stack, higher than me of what I've been writing.
Wow. I think that's something most people wouldn't know.
Yeah. Is there a Max Brooks anthology coming out then? A bunch of novellas?
The ones that are not published deserve not to be published.
Yeah.
No, I was. Oh God, no. I mean, I wrote novels. I wrote a novel. My first one, I think, in 9th grade.
Wow.
And I just kept going in the novellas and the short stories. But that's always where I lived. I'm that nerdy, introverted guy who would sit in my little room with my little record player at the end of every school day, and I'd be like, oh, no, I finally get to be me for a couple hours before I go to bed. Never showed it to people. I mean, I tried once. That novel in 9th grade, showed it to my English teacher who corrected it.
Oh, brutal.
As an English teacher would,
Right. Of course. I mean, he could have put a little note like, hey, as a 9th grade boy, thank you for, not masturbating for enough hours to write this.
Right.
Would be nice, a little encouragement, keep going, so to speak. But I just said, no, I'm not showing. Also because I'm painfully dyslexic, so school was not my thing. Mm-hmm. That's when people ask me, like, are you a nerd? I'm like, well, I don't click all the nerd boxes, at least from my generation. To be a real traditional, party member in good standing, you had to be really good at school. And I was that kid who just like studied hours every night, got tutored on top of tutoring. And if I pulled off a C, I was like, oh, thank God. Now I get to have more misery.
To survive another day.
Yeah.
My daughter is dyslexic too. So I homeschool, so I get that struggle.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a real thing. I mean, and back when, at least now we know it's a thing. At least now we know it's real. We know that there are workarounds, but when I was starting out, I mean, there was nothing. My mom basically had to homeschool me while I was in school. So she had to have me
extra.
Yeah, she had to have me tested, and then she had to go back over the report because there were no accommodations back then. She had to invent the accommodations.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Came out that I was better at listening than at looking when it came to reading. So she went out and bought me all these audiobooks and then had my school books transcribed into audiobooks at the Institute for the Blind.
Wow.
Had to fight with my teachers every year because they were like, well, if he would just apply himself. And she's like, oh my God, he is applying himself.
Yeah.
He's applying.
Yeah.
Taught me to type because back in the 80s, back in the 1980s, they still taught school like it was the 1880s. And they would grade you on your penmanship.
Oh, wow.
Like for some reason, if you ended up writing to Charles Dickens, he wasn't going to be able to read it. It was, your penmanship is so poor. And my mom's like, Jesus Christ, who cares? So
no one needs to know what I wrote but me.
No. Oh, the swoop on the T. No. So she made me take a typing course, and I fought her. Mom, I don't do this. And she's like, if you want to be a writer, because she saw my stories, and she's like, if this is what you want to do with your life, you need the tools to know how to do it. Right? If you wanted to be a carpenter, I would make you learn how to swing a hammer right. But you want to be a writer, so you better know how to type, because I don't want you I don't want you having to pay a typist or be dependent on someone else. So she did that. So if it wasn't for Mom, oh boy, who knows?
Way to go, Mom.
The way to go, Mom. It's always the moms.
So the dyslexic part of it, did that make it hard to edit any of your writing then? Or like the typing? Because I would assume just reading it back to yourself was terribly hard, even if you knew what you wanted to write. Oh, you know what I mean?
Always. Oh my God, you don't want to see my emails. Good Lord. And then, of course, now we've got autocorrect. So I'm not only am I fighting with my own dyslexia, I'm fighting with this digital nanny state trying to tell me what they think I'm trying to say. No,
and it's never right.
It's never right. So never easy. Now, thank God I've gotten successful enough that when I do publish a book and I'm working with a publisher, I work with an editor. And I've been just supremely lucky that I've worked with the same editor for now going on 5 books. And she's amazing. Her name is Sarah Pete. I thank her in all my books. She's this young nerd. So she gets me and gets what I'm trying to say. And even though her notes sometimes are just brutal, I trust her. Because she'll be like, I know where you're trying to get to, and I'm telling you, you're not getting there. So here's some suggestions on how to get there. And I'm like, okay, I trust you. Because that's what a good editor does. A bad editor tries to take your book in a different direction and go, well, what if you just made them, instead of zombies, made them cupcakes? That's not what but I'm not writing a cookbook. I know, I'm just spitballing. I'm like, well, no spitball.
Don't do that.
No, I had a bad editor do that once. The book we were on draft 3, and the guy started throwing in plot points, and I'm like, dude, that was way back there, right? We've built the car. Okay. Give me roadmap directions now. Tell me how to drive. Don't tell me, well, if we put a 5th wheel on the car, I'm like, the car is done.
Yeah. That is done. We've established that's a car.
We've established it. This is what I'm writing. We're not rewriting the book. We're making the book I have written a better book.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not changing. We're enhancing.
Yes.
Right.
And that's what a good editor does, even if it means more work, even if it's way more homework. Minecraft the Island, first book I worked on with her, 10 drafts.
Wow.
Yeah. 10.
We read that with the kids. They love it.
Oh, thank you. I got so lucky. I mean, Mojang or Mojang, however they want to pronounce it.
I said it first.
They didn't have to take me on. And I pitched them a crazy, dumb idea. I came in and I said, oh my God, you have more than a video game. You have a life lesson simulator here that can teach these kids how to live.
Yeah.
So I want to do a Robinson Crusoe story where every time you do something, the character's like, I just learned something. And they were like, well, okay, if that's what you want to do, you do it. And they didn't get in my way. So thank you.
That's great. No, I love it's like, yeah, sure. Have it. Creative freedom. It's yours.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's great. It was great. And then they let me do 2 more books and they let me keep taking it to the next level. So I was, when you write for someone else's world that they've created, you don't get to complain.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's
whatever notes it's their sale.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You do what they tell you to do. And if you don't like it, you can say, I don't want to work for you, but you don't get to work for them and then complain.
Yeah.
So they let me work for them. And I said, okay, all right. And thank God they respected me and I was grateful to them. So we turned out 3, I think, pretty good books.
Awesome.
I think they're pretty good too.
Thank you.
To talk about another book you wrote many years ago, but the Zombie Survival Guide. I remember reading that and being like, you had to have had the most fun writing that book. The different chapters and stuff had just to survive. I remember thinking, man, the author must have a great time. Not knowing I'd ever talk to you, but I bet he'd have a great time writing this, just in general.
I wrote it never to be published.
Really?
Fair enough.
No, I wrote it for me. But look,
yeah.
before you two were born in the 1990s, I was obsessed with zombies. I was obsessed with zombies when I was a little kid. Terrified.
Yeah.
When I say obsessed, not like, oh, it's so cool. Like terrified. Oh my God, how would I survive? And back in the mid 90s, when I was really struggling as a writer and I was trying to make it as a screenwriter and nobody wanted them. And every time I'd write a movie and I would go into pitch and they'd be like, yeah, that's great. Can someone have sex with an apple pie? And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, we've already done that. Because it was the 90s. That was it. American Pie was the gold standard of American post-war culture. Right? We finally beat communism, and here's the result.
Bacon.
So that's
apple
all
pie
they
for
wanted.
everyone.
And I was just like, no, I can't. No, this is about World War I. And just, so at night, to keep myself sane, I would go home and I would engage in my childhood fear. And I was like, okay, what if it was real? Right? Like real zombies, and I'm not a hero in a movie, and I don't have Hollywood magic to save my ass. How would I really survive? And I really started going through it with my OCD and God knows what else I haven't been diagnosed with. And I thought, okay, well, I might die without ever having seen a zombie. Dehydration, malnutrition, infection.
True.
Step on a rusty nail and let's say that I wall off my compound. Hooray, I'm safe. Every time I poo, I'm creating a public health threat. If not disposed of correctly, what do I do? So I wrote every night, and then I came up with this manuscript and I just stuck it in a drawer. This is like 97, 98. And I thought, well, nobody's going to want this. And then years later, it got published. And even then, when it got published, it was marketed wrong. And it almost died, and my career almost died with it.
Wow.
Because nobody knew what to do with it.
Sure.
And so the publisher and the publicist, they all tried to position me as Mel Brooks Jr.
Sure.
Writing younger Frankenstein. And you can even see it. If you go on Amazon to this day, I think one of the early reviews was, in this outrageous parody. And I'm like, no, don't do, it's not an outrageous parody. Yeah. And I told him, I said, if you do an outrageous parody, first you're going to get slammed by the people expecting a comedy book.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, this is not funny. Where are the jokes? And they're going to hate it. And then my tribe, the nerds, who don't know me yet, who I've not been introduced formally to, are going to think that Mel Brooks's Hollywood Brat is taking a giant dump on what they are really into. And that's exactly what happened. LA Times slammed it. They're like, this is the least funny book ever written. I'm like, yeah, duh. And then, of course, Rue Morgue, God knows what they said. I mean, they were furious, and rightfully so. So my girlfriend, who became my wife, was like, you need to market this yourself as Max Brooks, zombie nerd. Mm-hmm. So I went to Fangoria on my knees. I'm like, please just give me an interview. Let me tell my side of the story. And they did. Thank you, Tony Timpone. And suddenly I'm on Fangoria Radio with Dee Snider. And because I'm so weird, I not only was able to talk to him about zombies, I was able to talk to his appearance in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
And that's a bridge. Dang.
That's a bridge. I was like, Dee Snider, I'm a huge fan. You were great in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And he's tried to bust me. He's like, yeah. What song was I playing? And I'm like, Burn in Hell. And he's like, oh my God, Burn in Hell.
You do know.
It's like, I'm not, I was like, nowadays the key word is authenticity. And that's the only way I was able to survive, was like, listen, I'm just going to be me, laugh at me, call me a loser, but this is what I'm into. This is who I am.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's great. And it's good that you got that chance, because so many people, it would have just ended their careers and that would have been it. They wouldn't have even tried again. So I like that you fought for yourself on that.
Oh, I did. And then I met this great personal appearance agent. My manager was like, listen, there's a firm and they book public speakers. And I went to them and I pitched the room and I said, I would really love to do zombie self-defense lectures. Like, if you didn't know zombies were fake and you wandered in, you thought you were at a model mugging class. And I remember,
fun.
one of the agents is like, well, that's kind of geeky. And I'm like, with respect, miss, it's not kind of.
Yeah, all the way.
It is full geeky.
I said, this is the geekiest thing you'll ever hear in your life. And so then, of course, the one geeky agent in the back of the room is like, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll book you. And that is Mike D'Andrea, who got me on this podcast. And we've been together since 2003. No,
that's incredible.
He's the man.
Mike's the best.
That's awesome.
And
I just picture you in
a geek like us. Yes.
Yeah. You gotta be.
People are.
You gotta be. If you're into it, don't be afraid of getting laughed at.
Yeah.
Be you.
I became a happier person when I quit trying to hide how geeky I really am.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is me. This is my truth.
Yeah.
Love it or leave it.
and you'll attract the people who are authentic like you. They don't have to have the same interests. My wife has no similar. She calls everything I'm into Dungeons and Dragons.
Nat 20.
She's great. Yeah, she's like, "Are you?" I'm having breakfast. She comes in. She's like, "Oh, you watching Dungeons and Dragons?" I'm like, "I am watching Babylon 5." She's like, "That's exactly what it is."
It's just all mushed in there.
She's all, no matter what it is, watching Fallout. I'm like, this is great. She's like, oh, it's a new version of Dungeons and Dragons. I'm like, oh my God.
Every fantasy is Dungeons. I love it. Also,
that's all of it to her.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love it. Hey, at least she knows Dungeons and Dragons,
No, and you accept it. You accept what people are into. And she's like, okay. She's like, this is why I have a good marriage. She's like, I'm not watching it with you. I'm like, I didn't ask you. She's like, great. And then she walks out the room.
She'll go do her thing at that time.
Right.
It works.
She does her thing, doesn't make me stop watching my thing, and we get along just fine.
I love it.
I just picture you in a Karate Kid kimono or whatever, just prepping in a mall. Just like, it's time to fight. It's like, this is what happens. It's so good.
That would be fun. If you ever do one of those again, please let us know, because I want to come.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's been so well, you know what it is? I tipped over when the kids started, when the iPhones started coming out, and it sapped when the attention span just cratered.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I heard this horrible report. I was on NPR last night about how the professors in film schools are complaining that their students don't watch movies.
Wow.
Right. Like you're in film school to make films and they don't watch films because it's too long. And they try it. They're like, okay, we're going to show you. And, I'm a snob, so like I would love to watch the movie, Casablanca or something like that, but like they can't even sit through Godzilla all the way through because they're shifting and looking at their phones. And so,
it's so sad.
Initially, the zombie self-defense lectures were great initially when they had the attention span. Also, it was good for me because it made me have to defend my thesis.
Sure.
Because I did Q&As. I did like half of it was lecturing, and it made me a much better public speaker. And it also made me have to really defend it because they come in ready. They're ready to bust you.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
They want to get you.
That's what they want to do.
That's also a geek thing. They want to get you.
All you want to do is trip them up.
Yep. The zingers are locked and loaded. And they'll, one guy, I remember one guy was like, I know how to fight zombies. And I'm like, yeah, shoot. And he goes, napalm. And I'm like, great. Give me the chemical composition of napalm. Where the raw materials are first taken from nature, where they're refined, how they're going to be combined, how they're going to be transported, how they're going to be weaponized. Give me a delivery system. Is it aircraft? Okay, where's the aircraft going to be based? Where's the aviation fuel for the aircraft? Where are the pilots trained? How is it going to be protected? How are you going to mass produce it? When you answer all those questions, come back and talk to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Because
even if you gave me all of that, the blast radius would still be confusing to me. Like how big of a thing we drop in here? Like
right.
Like let's be realistic.
Yeah.
But I think that's what people do. They take things and they're like, oh well, zombies aren't real, so I can go with the most creative way to kill them. But like, if they are, that doesn't work, does it?
Oh, I had every question. The one that everyone always tried to bust me with was like, well, now everyone knows about zombies, so they'd all know what to do. And I said, yeah, and people in Hurricane Katrina knew about water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, what type of zombie are we talking? Are they fast? Are they slow?
Yeah.
Are they dumb? Are they smart?
I said, just because you know about a threat doesn't mean you believe it and to prepare for it.
Very true. We have a geek that joins us who's also named Max, and he tells us all the time that he's the last person we want to be with if an apocalypse ever happens.
Us to the bear.
Because he'll just sacrifice us and run.
he's like, I don't be faster than the bear.
That's his plan.
There you go. There's your buddy.
Well, in that time, I'm not sure we're friends. But
I was saying, not that time. I don't think we're friends anymore in an apocalypse.
Oh boy.
But you came from Zombie Survival Guide. Did you gather all those good ideas to move into World War Z, or how did you? Was it just the love of zombie continuation?
For me, I always come to my books from the point of view as a consumer, not a producer. I write what I would read. And I've loved zombie movies my whole life. Dawn of the Dead. Personally, I think Dawn of the Dead is one of the best movies ever made, not just because of the zombies, because of social commentary.
Yeah.
But they are always small stories. And a zombie pandemic by nature is big. So it's like trying to understand the scope of World War II by watching Saving Private Ryan.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
I had big questions that I needed answered. How do countries survive? How would different governments survive? If you were in charge of a government, how would you save your population from the infection? And then if you had a safe zone, how do you feed 10 million refugees? How do you keep law and order in the zones? How do you rearm to fight back when the global supply chain has been severed? Big questions. And I wanted to answer that. And I was lucky because, once again, back to my mom, when I was a kid, she got me an audiobook called The Good War. Have it right here in paperback. The Good War by Studs Terkel. And it's an oral history of World War II. And it's interviews with people all around the world who lived through World War II. And when I listened to it as a kid, it never left me. And I thought, that's it. That's what I'll do. I will do an oral history of the zombie war. And it wasn't called World War Z initially. It was called Zombie War. Publisher made me change it because this was a different time. And they said, well, we want to appeal to women. And I'm like, I don't understand. What do you mean? And they're like, well, more women read than men, and women are not sci-fi geeks.
Lies.
I'm like, you're kidding. And they're like, no, that's what our market research has shown us. So we want you to change the title and take zombies out. So my agent at the time, my late agent, Ed Victor, God bless him, he came up with the best titles ever. I miss him so much. And that's one of the million reasons I miss him, is because I could present him with a book and he'd be like, oh, just call it that. And he was like, well, just call it World War Z. And I was like, oh, Ed Victor, God, you were an amazing man. So that's where we got it.
That's awesome.
Awesome. So you took your inspiration from the book you had as a child with, that fascination with zombies, and just kind of all combined it into, one of the greatest books.
Oh, well, I don't know. I like it. Yeah, it's, and this is something I'm very keen on. I think what trips up wannabe writers is they live under this weird myth that somehow God either speaks through you or he doesn't. Like the movie Amadeus, where Tom Hulce sort of wanders in the morning after having an all-night bender and just sits himself down with his feather quill, and he's like, I'll put an oboe in there, and it just happens. And I think too many wannabe writers are like, oh, well, if I don't have that, I don't have anything. And I'm like, no, dude, it comes from something else. Mm-hmm. You're influenced by other people, and it moves through you. It's like it all moves through you and comes out as something original. That's how it works. And that's why I think it's so important to give credit. So I put in World War Z, like I credit Studs Terkel. I also credit General Sir John Hackett. He wrote this book called The Third World War. It was written in the 70s. And it's written like a dry history text, as if World War III had already happened. And then George Romero, like, come on, man. Like there's no, and so whenever I hear someone say like, oh, it just came to me, I'm like, no, it didn't.
No,
you didn't live in a cave. You're not wandering in the biblical desert and suddenly a bush lights up in front of you and you come down with the word. You absorb, you think about it. And the difference between homage, and actually if you credit people, that's a good thing, because then you might bring people to the people who came before you, who've never heard of who influenced you. And so you're giving back, as opposed to thievery, where you don't credit anyone and you go, oh no, I just thought of this. I'm like, no, you didn't, you thief.
No, I can think of 5 other books off the top of my head that, How do you,
you've never heard of this, and this? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
Right. It's clearly lined out right there. How do you go about like researching for World War Z, like disaster scenarios and all of these things without kind of spiraling into like an existential dread? Because I feel like
I think that's interesting, because for me it's the opposite. For me, like a lot of people live in a state of happy denial, which I think is a good thing. You need that, right? You need a little bit of happy denial. We never would have left the caves. If we had really thought about what was waiting outside the cave, we would have stayed in the cave and starved to death, right? It took somebody with complete denial to be like, oh no, I have a good feeling about today. No, I don't think anything's going to happen to me. Now, he might have gotten eaten, but the guy next to him was like, oh, it's a good thing he got eaten, because now I can go hunting. Now the saber-toothed cat is full. But you need that. Most people need that. And therefore, when they're confronted with a crisis, they spiral.
Sure.
I'm the reverse. I'm born on the spiral. I'm already there. I'm already a nervous wreck. I'm already terrified. And for me, the research calms me down. Like I always talk about this metaphor. The best metaphor I can think of is Jaws. 2/3 of the movie, you don't see the shark.
Yeah.
So you can imagine anything. Then in Act 3, and he's up on the flying bridge and he looks down and he sees the shark. When I saw that, I'm like, okay, all right. Now I know what I'm dealing with. That, for me, research calms me down, because now I know what I'm dealing with.
Makes sense.
I was scared of diseases my whole life.
Sure.
And I learned about them. I learned about diseases. My mother helped me. Her favorite book was called The Microbe Hunters, The History of Germs. So flash forward right after 9/11, I'm working for Saturday Night Live. We also had anthrax in the building. People forget about those days when the white
I remember
powder
the mails.
envelopes.
Yeah.
The people opened envelopes and suddenly whoosh. And then a few days later, people came down with anthrax, and they didn't even know it was anthrax. They didn't know. They just coughed. And then they were just like, what is that? And the reason people died was because by the time they went to the doctor, it was too late. Mm-hmm. We had an anthrax envelope at 30 Rockefeller Plaza, and they shut everything down.
Wow.
My girlfriend came into the room panicking. She's like, you can't go into work. Anthrax in the building. Tommy Thompson said on CNN is this. And I said, first of all, Tommy Thompson is not a real name. Second of all, I know what I'm dealing with. I know anthrax. I knew it was a bacteria. I knew you can cure bacteria with antibiotics. I knew what the symptoms were like. I knew I didn't have symptoms. So I was fine because I knew it. It's when I don't know the threat, then the imagination takes off. Yeah, and then I'm a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
Sure. I was always wondering, did they pull you into World War Z the movie? I always see like a novel by and then your name, but like did they grab you at all to talk about it?
Oh no, they did not. No, they pulled me out.
Okay.
Well, no, which in a strange way it was fine. It was actually better because I know they went through hell making that movie. And I was spared. I was spared the ups and the downs and the politics and the fights and the production problems. I was working on other stuff. I got to have the freedom to work on other stuff and create new works.
Yeah.
Also, when the movie came out, and I know this sounds weird, and this is I forgive you for not jumping on this bandwagon, but the fact that it was so different.
It was.
Yeah.
So different gave me a little bit of freedom. Like if you just shut your eyes through the title sequence, you're basically just watching like the 28 Days Later movie with a real budget.
Sure.
And that was better because I didn't have to watch my characters, be mutilated and their intentions be changed. I didn't have to watch my plot get twisted. I mean, because I had much more of an issue watching, let's say, Starship Troopers, which is one of my favorite books. And there they were. Wonderful. There are the characters. There's a story. But suddenly it's Starship Troopers 90210.
Yeah.
I still haven't. And I know Paul Verhoeven and I like him. And I still ain't forgotten that wooden shoe motherfucker. Anyway.
No, that's true.
I still get mad thinking about that.
I feel it.
Nothing hurts more than like a movie ruining a great book.
Well, and even the term ruining it, because initially when I saw the trailer before I saw the movie, I was like, oh God. And once again, my wife rides to the rescue and she goes, you need to talk to Frank Darabont, who is a friend of ours. So remember, Frank created the Walking Dead TV show. Had to fight for it, tooth and nail. AMC was like, we don't do zombie TV shows. Are you nuts? No. We do John Hamm in a nice suit. That's who we are. So he had to fight and and he finally did it, and he got it on the air. And even then, they didn't trust him. They gave him like 6 episodes or something. They gave him like a piddly little commitment. Yeah. And I remember even then when they were doing the promotion for it before it aired, one of the cast members was like, "It's not about zombies." I'm like, but then it goes on the air, huge hit. And what's Frank's reward? They fired him.
Yeah.
Because they're like, ooh, now we've got the machine up and running. What do we need you for?
Yeah.
So I call Frank, or I wrote to Frank, and I was like, oh my God, this, and they ruined my book. And Frank writes back and he's like, dude, did they pull your book from the shelves and rewrite it? And I went, no. And he's like, you have no right to complain. He's like, take it from a screenwriter who has had his screenplays legitimately ruined by some directors who then change it completely, put it up on the screen, and then the world thinks that's me because that's my credit as the writer, and everyone thinks that was my vision. Yeah. He said, your vision is pure. Your vision is on the shelves. If anybody wants to know your side of the story, it's right there in black and white.
Yeah.
And that slapped some sense into me. And then he passed it on to another friend who wrote back to me and said, what were you expecting? Whenever we authors, whenever we book writers let them make a movie, we only do it for one reason, and that is to give life to our book. are people reading your book who would have never heard of it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Then, and if they are, what are you complaining about? And that was Stephen King.
There you go.
Yeah. So, and he really, you want to talk about getting screwed over. I mean, I've heard about
consistently. Yeah, consistently.
Wow.
Always.
Oh my God. Stanley Kubrick going to him and being like, yeah, you can't write. I'm firing you off this project.
Yeah.
And then the rest of his life, Stephen King gets people coming up to him going, dude, The Shining's like the best movie ever. And he's like, oh.
Yeah, just right to the heart. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, could you imagine going up to Stephen King and being like, you're fired. You can't write. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah. You
That's
can't write
nuts.
Stephen King.
Like, come on. That's a serious head up your ass moment.
Yeah. So I had these two legitimate geniuses give me a pick me up and a dressing down. And I never forgot that. So from now on, I was like, thanks guys. Thanks for helping me grow up a little bit more.
That's the best.
I always thought with the HBO creating like such really good television, like World War Z, I feel like is perfect for like a mini series, like not necessarily like a full run show for season over season, but like I feel like it'd be good. I don't know.
I hear that a lot. I mean, my God, everybody I talk to is like, oh my God, it should be an anthology series, and I'm like, well, great, yeah, don't talk to me, go talk to the folks in charge.
I'm in. I will.
Go tell the people with the money to make it happen. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be though. And then, get to be told the right way would be incredible.
Well, it's interesting. I ran into Brad Pitt a few years ago, and Stephen King was in my head, and I said to him, listen, I never said thank you. And he's like, for what? And I'm like, thank you for just bringing attention to my book. I never said that. And I know how hard you worked on it. And he's so cool. He goes, even if they run. And I was like, yes, because he got it.
Yeah.
He's enough of a dork that he got the running zombie versus slow zombie thing. So he knew like, oh, this is gonna piss some people off.
Yeah. No, I like that though.
But yeah, I'm a slow zombie guy. And he respected me enough to call that out. So thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Good that
you mentioned Saturday Night Live and the Anthrax thing. What was it like writing for it? I know it was kind of in between acting and your other books, but how was?
I was so miscast. God, I was miscast but I didn't know. I didn't know until I was in it because I'm a reasonably funny guy. I can be. It's more of a defense mechanism than anything. But I write some funny things. But every step of my life, I'm constantly confronted with nature versus nurture, and it's really not my nature. Like I am not a creature of the writer's room. And I really didn't fit in. And that's legitimate from both sides. Like I would look at these guys in the writer's room and girls. There weren't enough of them, but at the time there were enough girls, including my boss, Tina Fey. She was a good boss. And they loved being there and they loved every minute of it. And I didn't, I would sit there in the writer's room and I'd be like, can I go write something? And they'd be like, and then one of the other writers, Leo Allen, is like, dude, we are writing. This is it. And I'm like, boy, I do not fit in. But it was a great experience. And I got to work with some really amazing people. And I got to see, and I got a lot of respect for those folks.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hard work. And, Tina Fey was so smart and so talented and worked so hard. I came up the same year as Seth Meyers, and Seth didn't have any, he didn't have any friends baked in. Cause sometimes they were a little bit like prison gangs. Like there's like the Harvard Lampoon gang, and there's like, the improv gang and the stand-up gang. And like Seth he didn't really have much of a gang, but man, every night he went into his office and he was a cast member. So maybe he could write a sketch, maybe not. It's encouraged. Every night he churned out like 2 or 3 sketches and just kept grinding and grinding, even though he was the bottom of the totem pole. And so every inch of success I saw him get late in later life, I know for a fact that he earned.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So for the uninitiated, how does that writer's room work? Or do you have just an idea on a board and say, we got to punch this thing up? Or how does that?
Okay. So the way it used, I don't know how it works anymore.
Sure.
But when I was there, Monday night is you pitch to the host. Mm-hmm. And most of the pitches, they're not intended to actually be sketches. They're there to make the host feel comfortable. They want the host, because it's hugely intimidating to host Saturday Night Live. So
I imagine.
Yeah, so Lorne Michaels wants the host to feel calm and to know that we are on your side and we are working very hard to make you look good. So you pitch them ideas and we all laugh and we have a good night. And then Tuesday night is writing night and you write all night into the dawn. And that is a tradition left over from the 70s when they used to do pounds and pounds of cocaine. Which we did not do. We would, the writer's assistants would go out and bring in like bags of like Halloween candy. So we would like sugar spike and crash and sugar spike and crash. And literally it was like a sine wave, on an oscilloscope. And that was writing night. And I remember one of the old writers from the 70s was visiting one night and he comes in, he goes, "How do you kids do this without blow?" So we write, you write all night and then you go home for like a few hours Wednesday morning. You crash out for like 4 or 5 hours. And then you come in Wednesday evening and you read all the sketches. Yeah. And it's a table read and everybody's giving their all and the actors are reading it like as if they're in the sketch. And the host is there and they're reading and Steve Higgins and Lorne Michaels are there. And then you go back to your office to wait. And then they post the sketches, which is going to be in the running. And of the sketches they post, only half of it will make it to air because half of those will be cut at dress because they run it, you do it and you run it past the dress rehearsal audience. And if they're not into it, then you're like, it's not happening. And that's how it works. So then Thursday, you produce the sketch. If you've written a sketch that gets on, you produce it. Sometimes they assign writers to help produce. Like sometimes if a writer really wins the lottery and you got maybe one or two maybe sketches in, they'll bring in another writer who didn't get on the air that week and you'll help produce the sketch. Or sometimes it'll be like a really production heavy sketch with props and costumes and they need extra hands. And then Friday night, another rehearsal, and then Saturday, like dress rehearsal, and then you go into Lauren's office, and we're all crowded in, and then we get the final orders, and then boom, we go, and then there's the after party, which to me was never fun because I was so tired.
Yeah. And all that candy wears off.
All that candy wears off. And I already had a girlfriend, so I'm not trying to score. But it's important to go to show the school spirit.
Yeah.
Because esprit de corps, teamwork is very important on the show, or was when I was there. So we did that. Then there was an after party I never went to. I was like, I'm going home.
I need sleep.
Yeah, I really need sleep. Because we get Sunday off and then Monday you go right back to it.
That's crazy schedules.
Yeah.
It's the kind of chaos I thrive in, though, really.
Oh, I mean, it is. I mean, in my later life as part of a military think tank, I have been at sea on a nuclear aircraft carrier watching flight operations with less activity than we had on Saturday Night Live.
Without getting in trouble, can you talk more about that? That's crazy. What? The military?
Yeah, well, I'm part of 3 military think tanks.
Okay.
I got pulled into the first one because of World War Z. I was asked. Yeah. Sure. I was asked to speak at the U.S. Naval War College years ago. Admiral Wisecup asked me to come, and at first I was like, "Are you sure you have the right guy?" And he's like, no. He's like, and I talked to them. And he said, no, you've outlined in World War Z how a global disaster, regardless of what the nature of disaster is, how it would unfold. He's like, wow. I want you to come talk to. Now, I should specify the Naval War College is not the Naval Academy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the Naval War College is the graduate school. So imagine you're a naval officer. You've been at sea for years. You've made mid-grade rank. You're a commander. You maybe got 4 stripes. You're a captain, and now you want to move on to be an admiral. That's what the War College is.
Okay.
So I go and I spoke there, and then they asked me to come back because it became part of the admiral's reading list. And then I got invited to speak at a Pentagon listening group, and then I got invited to be on a think tank, and then another think tank, and then a third. And so I do a lot of talks, and I write articles about war. And I tend to stay away from the kinetic stuff, the shooting, because there's guys who actually do that for a living, and I tend to study what's called the asymmetric threats, how countries can hurt us without firing a shot.
Okay.
So things you'd never think of. You know, you want to really geek out. You want to really not sleep at night.
I do.
So
let's do it.
So all right, I wrote an article about Monsanto. And because Monsanto and all GMOs, genetically modified crops, because of a Supreme Court case, have been patented, which means for the first time since the agricultural revolution, farmers are not allowed to take a little bit of their harvest and bank it away to replant next season. Because legally, if it's a GMO crop, that is the equivalent of copyright infringement.
Oh my God! I never.
That's literally the equivalent as if in the 80s, if I took my Def Leppard tape and copied it, and then kept selling my Def Leppard tape, Hysteria, without paying Def Leppard anything.
That's crazy.
So those farmers can go to jail. What that means is every year now, the farmers have to go back to Monsanto and buy seed crop. So they got them on the hook every year. It's a great money-making tool.
That's crazy.
But from a national security standpoint, that means we have no seed reserve.
Yeah.
And then Monsanto was sold to Bayer, with German company. Now we have a security treaty with Germany, but as far as I know, there was nothing in the bill of sale that said Bayer couldn't turn around and sell it for double the price to China.
Yeah.
So imagine, let's say China's about to make a move on Taiwan and they time it for growing season. And then we are about to defend Taiwan and they go, if you do that, we are going to have a seed embargo.
Wow.
And even if that seed embargo doesn't turn into famine, just imagine what the panic alone would do in a country where there's more guns than people.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is this saying? We're 3 missed meals away from like some type of riot or something. Yeah, I forget. There's some type of saying. Yeah.
So just imagine, even if the actual seed embargo never kicks in, even if the famine never takes place, just the panic alone of what would happen to our, I mean, now I'm not old enough to remember the gas lines of the 70s where people were beating the shit out of each other in line for a tank of gas. But that's, in the words of Sheriff Buford T. Justice, is baby shit compared to what's going to be happening at the grocery stores when people are shanking each other for the last can of peas.
Right.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
During COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I write about. How can countries hurt us without firing a shot?
Interesting. So with that said, if God forbid a global crisis were to like hit tomorrow, what is the first mistake you think humanity would make?
Oh, it's easy. Panic. Just panic. Just freaking out. Just panic.
We do that on a daily basis anyway.
Yeah. It just drowns thought. I mean, the idea of just knee jerk, and humans do knee jerk really well. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're so wired for panic that we actually have to have laws against it, right? It's why you can't shout fire in a crowded theater, right? Because if you do that, most human beings don't go, I don't smell any smoke. There's not a fire. Most people go, oh my God, there's fire.
Yeah, that's true.
We are wired for panic. I don't know if this is true. I've heard the story that Andy Kaufman once hired actors to run through a zoo shouting, the lions have escaped. and people just lost it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
and no one's gonna think that like the zoo didn't announce this.
Right. I mean, in the Good War, Studs Terkel, back to the Good War, there was an interview with a guy who lived in San Francisco on the eve of Pearl Harbor, and how people just lost their mind. They thought the Japanese forces had landed all over the coast. Guys were running up to streetlights, smashing them with baseball bats because they didn't. The lights, the Japanese bombers are going to be able to bomb us. And we freaked out so bad, we put our fellow Americans in internment camps.
Yeah.
So panic, no matter what it is. If you just lose your mind, people are going to lose their lives.
So
best thing to do, not panic.
So I'm curious now, hearing kind of your thought process around just all these things that could potentially happen. Do you have like a stockpile somewhere hidden in the woods of like prepper Max Brooks? Like you just all of a sudden you're going to a fallout shelter?
Well, that's the thing. It depends on what the threat is.
Sure. Agree.
Like I live in Southern California, so I'm already prepared for earthquakes. My mother had an earthquake kit when I was growing up.
Sure.
I made one critical mistake in COVID. I was able to pivot in time, thank God. So I knew it was coming. My military contacts were like, "There's a virus that's in China. It's going to break out." And the moment it got to Iran, I'm like, "We're going to be in a lot of trouble."
Yeah.
So I went to the grocery store and I just bought tons of food. You know, the canned food, the dried food, because I didn't know how bad it was going to be. I thought, what if there's tanks on the street? And the day before, when we're all starting to lock down, I'm like, "Honey," I said to my wife, "Don't worry, check this out." And I showed her my stockpile, and she's like, "I don't eat any of that."
You will.
We've been together. She's like, "We've been together 20 years. How do you not know me?"
Awesome.
And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "You've eaten with me for the last 20 years. 90% of what I eat is leafy greens." And she's like, I'm going to the store. I'm like, "Don't go to the store. You're gonna get COVID in the line." So I got in the car. I said, "Stay here." I got in the car. I drove to the plant store, the gardening center, and I bought every little seedling of spinach, romaine lettuce, everything, and I put them all in the garden, and we lived off that for months.
Hey,
because
that's awesome.
Remember in the beginning, we didn't know. Remember when we all thought COVID was on the surfaces, and we all had cardboard boxes like in the corner of our porch, so it would it would disinfect in the sunlight. I knew. I'm like, we can't scrub leafy greens. So even if we start ordering them online, we don't know how much you have to scrub. So I planted the garden. We lived off the garden, and that was our leafy greens. I am stockpiled. I'm stockpiled for the things that hit LA. So, earthquake. Fires. I've had enough fires that now that we have a lot of air filters. I'm stockpiled. Plus, I'm really stockpiled for the next fire because the last time my dad lived with us for 10 days. So at riots, we always have riots in LA.
Sure.
Because in LA, it's always the same thing. They start out as peaceful protests. And then the local government of LA is not smart enough to say, okay, when it gets dark, we're dispersing, because that's when the bad guys come out to loot all the stores. So of course, then the looters come out, and then it gets violent. So I'm ready for that. And then I'm sure another pandemic is coming.
I'm sure.
Oh boy, yeah.
Boogaloo.
Yeah.
Is there a type of like creature or disaster that you haven't written about, or maybe that you have but haven't published, that you would like to get out there?
Oh yes. So I am waiting for notes from my editor for draft 3 of the new book.
Ooh.
And
what
it's
can
called,
you tell us about it?
Yeah, I can tell you. It's called The First 100 Hours, and it's Alien Invasion.
Ooh. Fun.
And you can actually read the first excerpt. So perfect example. I wrote a huge prologue, and my editor is like, it's going to slow the book down, but let's take it out. Let's put it on your website. And if anybody wants to own it, we can publish it at the back end of the next printing of World War Z.
Ooh.
So if you go to your bookstore right now, and if they've got a latest printing of World War Z, chances are in the back will be the prologue of the first 100 hours, which will give you just a glimpse into what we're getting into.
I'm going to have to go look. I'm going to have a second copy of World War Z, but that's good.
Yeah. So the aliens
No,
are
that'll
coming.
be cool.
The aliens are
The aliens are coming. I love
The
that.
aliens are
Awesome.
That'll be lots of fun.
I was saying, I spent 3 years on this darn book. I spent a whole year just researching it. So all the UFO conspiracies, all the technology, whoa, yeah, it's all there.
I like all the alien conspiracies too. So this will be fun. Do you do like a lot of heavy outlining? Sorry, Justin.
No, you're okay. My bad.
Yes. No, I do a ton of it. So my writing process is very different than some other writers. First thing I do is I write a whole outline, basic beats. I always call it basic beats. Here's what happens. And there may be like a bullet point, a sentence. Then after I've researched and scribbled a bunch more notes, I write a synopsis. So like this book in its current draft, the first 100 hours, it's like 700 pages. And the outline, the synopsis was like 250, 300 pages. And it's not written as a book. It's basically just like, here's what has happened. Here's what's going to happen. Here's just the action. And here's what I need to write. And that way I don't have to expend brain power when I actually write the book, worrying about, oh, did I miss a plot point? It's all there.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And I can just focus on the writing. And that's why I never get writer's block, because I'm not sitting there waiting for the ideas to come. The ideas are already written. Now
you wrote them all out.
Right. I've already written them all out. Now I just got to write them as a book.
That's a good idea.
I mean, you can see it's hard. It's dark over here, but whiteboards. So oh my God, just every whiteboard of like, okay, this scene, or maybe one whiteboard will be just the scene of the day, or another one will be like, here are my basic character bios. Don't forget, or questions have to be answered before you move on. So it's all out there. So a lot of prep work. I wish I could be that kind of writer who just sits down and just goes, and good for them. I mean, I'm jealous. I don't know if you know the comic book writer Mark Waid. He's written like everything. We're buddies, and I was sitting with him at Comic-Con. We're both signing something, and I'm talking about writing a new book, and I'm outlining. He's like, "Oh man," I was like, "I just like sit down and just switch it on, and I just go," and I'm like, "Oh, bastard." Because he's so damn good too. It's not like if he was a crappy writer, I'd be like, but I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, no, those people, great for them.
Yeah, it's just not how I work, and I just can't be that way.
Yeah, everyone has a process.
Yeah.
I
like learning about everyone's processes and kind of what works for people.
Right.
I love the whole wall of dry erase boards.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh yeah. I mean, sometimes I just write timelines, just like, here's what happened in this year, because I have to be able to, because also like with the first 100 hours, it's such a complicated book and there's so many characters, and only one of the story threads takes place in the United States. It's all around the world.
Oh, wow.
Which means a lot of tongue twisty names.
Yeah.
So I'll have to be like, wait, how do I spell that guy's name? Okay, right. And I'm always looking, just checking. Okay, right.
That's a good idea. Whiteboards is a great idea. I have notebooks. I have crates and crates of notebooks everywhere.
Yeah. Whiteboards are working. Also, corkboard was important. Behind me, you can't see because I've got this up, is the big board. And it's every scene in the new book, which I write on a 3x5 card, and then I stick it to the wall on the corkboard. So that way I just know every single scene. It also helps me. I also figure out action because I'm always conscious of too much talky versus too much action. So like every action scene, I'll put a red target dot on it. And I'll be like, okay, so that's an action scene. So pull back. Is this chapter have enough action? Is it too much versus talky talk? Okay, got it.
How do you find that balance? Like, how do you know? Is it just a gut feeling, like 70-30 or however, like, you know what I mean?
That's where the editor comes in. That's where she is like an air traffic controller, and I'm trying to land a plane in the fog because I'm too close to it. By draft 2, I'm right here. And she's like, no. She's like, so like this draft I'm working on now, it's all about pacing. And she'll give me some tough notes, but she'll be like, I can tell you where the flow starts to slow down. And you don't want to do that, especially with a big book. She's very clear. She's like, a big book should never feel like a big book.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
And I also don't have the advantage of writing a series. So like you can, if you've written a hit series, you can indulge yourself in the second book, the third book, the fourth book, because you've got your audience locked in. You know, every book I write is a new monster, a new genre. I mean, it's crazy. It's like a first date every time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there I was, zombies. I could have keep written zombie books. So, but then I segue into Minecraft, whole other fan base.
It's fun.
Yeah. But, you know, it was 8-year-old kids and their mothers. And then I'm pivoting away from that to do a Bigfoot horror book. So suddenly I'm back. And then I write a short story about the People's Republic of China invading the USA. And now I'm doing an alien invasion book. So I keep going away. Oh, and then I do a graphic novel about World War I. So every time is a first date for me.
That probably elongates the research process then, right? I would assume.
It really does, especially when you're dyslexic. I'm sure if I had a normal functioning brain, I probably could have cut my research time down. But I'm always like, oh, crap, I got to learn this and I got to read this and I got to talk to this expert and I got to hunt this expert down and cold call them. Hi, Professor, you don't know who I am, but, you know, I have to introduce myself to these people and try to explain myself. Oh, my God, talking to this one geologist about my Bigfoot book and Mount Rainier exploding. And initially he was like, okay, let's wait a minute. Then he's like, oh.
You know,
let me show you my corkboard. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I'm a real guy. I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat.
I'm
just I need all the answers, all the research so I can write it, you know, what's gonna be real.
What exactly? What's gonna be? I want it to be real. I want it to be authentic. I don't want to make up anything. I want to avoid the oh come on factor.
Yeah.
So it's like the research. It's and you get it from different forms. You know, either the books or talking to people, and even now when I read books, I have to listen to the audiobook if I can find it, or text to speech, and then I have the hardcover with me that I'm underlining. Yeah, because I'm like, oh, that's an important fact. Pause, underline. So then at the end, I have a book that is dog-eared and underlined as a reference book.
Well, that and I think also like because. Doing the kind of books you write about, I would imagine there's like the baseline human reaction and then the cultural reaction on top of it. So there's a bridge gap there, right? In terms of like how would these specific people react, let alone the human response versus on top of that, someone in Iceland. It doesn't matter.
Yes,
like,
and sometimes when you do research, it's cosmetic because you just need to figure out what the nickname of a tank or a plane is. But sometimes it legitimately affects the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's lived. I mean, for my Bigfoot book, I put my village of Green Loop out in the wilderness. And the whole point of it is that it's close enough to civilization that's close enough to the road. But when the volcano erupts, they're cut off on one end and they can't walk out the other side. So I literally had to fly up to Seattle, rent an F-150, drive into the woods, and see if I could do it on a paper map, and I couldn't even walk in there. And I was like, okay, because they're not wilderness people, these are urbanites. So I'm like, okay, and knowing my characters as they are, I know for a fact now they are legitimately trapped.
Sure.
And sometimes, like with Devolution, with my Bigfoot book, you gotta make your own weapons.
Dude, that's incredible.
Oh, that's so fun.
I'm so in.
That is so cool.
Well, because my characters didn't have any weapons of any kind. Remember, like in Alien 3, when she's like, we have no weapons of any kind. Yeah, like, that's my characters. And I thought, and they don't even have a toolbox. These are intellectuals. These are people, who listen to NPR all day. And they don't know how to screw in a screw. So could I make weapons given what would be around me without a toolbox?
Yeah.
And so I literally had to go experiment that with my Sobakiri, because they're not meat eaters. They wouldn't have a meat cleaver.
True.
And see, could I do it with nothing but scissors, lampshade wire, or a lamp wire, Sobakiri, a rock to smash the Sobakiri handle, and a paring knife to drill holes in the bamboo. And that was it.
Wow.
How long did it take you to do that? That's incredible.
That took me the better part of a day. And there was trial and error. Also a bread knife, because I didn't have a saw. They wouldn't have had a saw. So the bread knife was my saw to saw the bamboo.
Wow. That's dedication. I love that.
I have one more question on research. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, my bad. No.
I was just going to say, I always live in fear of somebody saying, I live what you write, and you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Fair.
No, that is fair.
Fear. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is fair.
In researching your alien book, I have to assume you've read so many fun firsthand accounts of just off the wall, like, this isn't real, but I love reading about it.
Oh my God. The firsthand accounts, and I also had to study the history of the government cover-ups.
Sure.
I guess we had that UFO documentary that just came out. Was it Disclosure? Something, I don't know. There was some sort of documentary that came out, and I'm watching, and all my friends are like, "Oh my God!" And I'm watching. I'm like, "Yeah, I've been there. I've read all these guys' testimony." Oh yeah. Oh, I had to learn and from different countries,
right?
And I had to, from Great Britain and from Mexico and from Iran. I mean, a lot of there's Iranian fighter pilots that went up against lights in the sky that switched off their targeting radars. I mean, there's a lot we don't know. There's a lot I don't know. Whatever the truth is, no one has told me yet, and I've done a lot of digging.
Yeah. Have you watched all the seasons of Ancient Aliens?
Oh my God! I think I was on Ancient Aliens.
Oh, were you?
I think they kept trying to get me to say, like, zombies are the product of ancient aliens. I'm like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not. No.
That's nuts.
No. Yeah. Ancient aliens. Besides, also, I'm old enough. I grew up with the greatest of speculative documentary series ever, called In Search Of, with Leonard Nimoy, who, they threw some crazy theories out there. Ancient Aliens has a lot of catching up to do. With the 70s, because they had speculation and massive drug use.
Yeah.
It was about pounds of cocaine still
right.
in heavy use.
So when those people said they saw something, they're not lying.
They did. Whether or not it was real and anyone else saw it,
right?
That's another story.
But in
their minds,
something happened. Oh, they're not lying. They woke up after seeing a light in the sky and their anus hurt. And that is not a lie.
Never mind the fact that Mexican food,
Doesn't matter. They don't remember the other night, but it was a bright light. And
Woodstock was crazy.
Yeah, couldn't sit down the next day. So I'm not questioning.
We don't know what happened.
Nope.
Oh, that is great.
Well, Max, when do you think is there a timeline on the book to being actually published from number 3?
At this moment, it's coming out next summer.
Okay.
A lot of it is not, we've still got some writing to do. As far as editing and tweaking, but what I learned was, fun fact about the publishing industry, COVID murdered the printing press industry.
I had no idea.
That's cool. Yeah, a lot of printing presses went out of business, so there's less. So you basically got to like get in line crazy months in advance. And thanks to the tariffs, so many printing presses are in Canada. That's where the trees are. So there's also the worry about like we need to print in advance in case, God forbid, we get another emergency tariff with Canada and it just shuts everything down.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so far in advance. But we'll be in the coming year, I'll be feeding more information about it.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah. We'll have to, before it comes out, maybe we get you back on here, do some promo work.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about it. Once it comes out, we can get
really deep into it.
Please, I will do my own research if that. I would love to talk aliens.
We'll do the research and then we'll read the book. It'll be
We'll talk aliens.
I would love to talk aliens.
Well, sir, anything else you want to chat about? If not, I think we went way over our time. But either way, I love talking with you.
It's
been great.
Quite all right. I could geek out all night, but it's probably time for dinner and time to walk the dog.
Yep. Well, there you go.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you listening.
Well,
thanks, everyone. Thanks for having me on.